Hey guys.
Hi guys, welcome to another episode of Parker Group Live. This week we wanted to talk about something that we've seen coming up more and more recently, which is what happens when the appraisal comes in too low. So occasionally when you go under contract on a property, whether you're the buyer or the buyer and seller might agree on a price, and then when the property is appraised for the purposes of financing, every once in a while the appraiser will think the value of the property is lower than the agreed upon sales price, and that becomes kind of a predicament. And so we wanted to talk about what options are on the table when that does happen.
Yeah, we continue to see this, especially in markets where there's extremely low inventory. So in our market in Delaware, that tends to be anything between kind of 100,000 and up to 300,000, depending on where in Delaware that home is. And so buyers have such few choices as they're looking to make a purchase that they may be willing to pay more than they would have in years past because of that lack of inventory. And so that's where we tend to run into these appraisal issues. So there's a few things that you can do. And the first and easiest thing to do, typically, depending on which side of the aisle you're on as far as buyer or seller, is to try to come to some sort of an agreement with the other party. And so if each of you can kick in the difference, depending on how much of a shortfall that appraisal is, that tends to be a common solution that we run into. Sometimes we can get the seller to come down to the appraised value if they're able to and they're not up against a mortgage. Most sellers will make that consideration because they know that there's not going to be likely a buyer that's willing to pay much more than the appraised value. Or in some cases, we actually have buyers who are willing to pay that full difference in price to get that home because it is such a competitive market. Additionally, what we have done in the past is, and we're actually going through this right now in a couple of different situations, is we can challenge the appraisal. So we can work with the bank and submit our comps and submit how we price the house and use that information to see if we can get the appraiser to reconsider their valuation, because it is, of course, one person's opinion. And although we may be looking at the same data, they may have selected different homes to compare your house to when they're making that determination. Mm-hmm. So this is a huge topic that is coming up more and more as we're seeing, but we can work through it. There's several different solutions that we can help you with to make this work, whether you're in the buyer's shoes or the seller's shoes. But at the end of the day, most buyers want to buy the house and most sellers want to sell the house. And so we can come up with a solution to help you through that process if you have any other questions.
Yep. So thanks guys for tuning in. I hope this is helpful if you're thinking about buying or selling or have this concern yourself. Any other questions, like Dustin said, reach out anytime. We're happy to help. Have a great week.
Thanks, guys.